All right, guys. In today's video, we're going to talk about Kucoin and how to utilize Kucoin and the interface and all that good stuff, because I know it can be confusing. So we're definitely going to be looking into kind of how we can navigate through this space and understand how Kucoin is used and how to move things around in Kucoin, because it's insane. Like if you look at it compared to like US markets like Coinbase and Binance US, completely different interface, but all interfaces that allow margin trading as well as futures, this is the typical setup. So this should work for any type of platform that does that. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into that in the next clip, guys. All right, so if I were to go into Kucoin and I were to click on it and I were to log in, this is the first thing I would see. All this looks great. There's so much going on here. It can pretty much confuse a new person. I get it. So we're going to kind of walk through little bit by little bit. All these offers, they are real offers, guys. These are not scams. These are real, legitimate offers that Kucoin is offering. But keep in mind, almost every one of these offers will come with a catch-22, right? So there's always a chance you can get the money that they're offering. And on top of there's a chance, it usually relates back to futures or margin trading, which is not necessarily the safest trading out there. So if you're going to do that, just dabble with caution and understand that if you do this to try and get this money, you could end up losing your current revenue dabbling in this. So always keep that in the back of your mind. I would say when it comes to futures and stuff like that, it's not a new person's space. Definitely try paper trading first to understand how it works. Once you get good at paper trading, then maybe dabble a little bit if you're interested in that kind of thing. But definitely try to avoid that if possible when just being a general investor, not understanding TA or anything like that. You should definitely know TA to be able to do futures and margin trading. It is not for somebody who doesn't know how to do TA. Now we'll move into the next part of the video. Just a second. All right, guys, this is the markets portion of the Kucoin interface. So this basically just takes you to the front, shows you all the coins and the allocations they have. They do have some that say 10x, they have some that say 3x, they have some that say no x's, right? Just regular coin. This is in regards to how you'll buy and how you'll end up kind of getting pushed against if it comes against you or goes up, right? So it's a way that you can buy into a coin kind of like futures without actually end up getting liquidated. But if it goes bad, it can go real bad real fast. So typically I stick to the coins with no type of X's on them or anything like that. I just buy the coins that I need. The reason that we're covering Kucoin, I think, in specifically is because Kucoin is becoming the dominant platform in the space, really, in reality. If you check it out in comparison to every other platform, they're covering almost every single coin, guys. Everybody should definitely consider a Kucoin account. You're probably like, well, Kucoin, is it not allowed here? Is it not allowed there? Kucoin has an other option. They keep in mind also they do have a headquarters to where if they're not allowed to operate in the country, there's really nothing the country can do. There's no cease and desist letter that they can send out because there's nowhere to send it to. So if that's the case, that makes this platform very safe to use in the factor of being able to be shut down by, say, your government or whatnot, right? So always keep that in mind too. But you know, when dabbling with these type of platforms, understand even though it's a gray area, you can always, this could be putting assets at risk technically because they could rug and there's nothing that could pretty much happen. Not saying Kucoin would. I think they're a great platform. I've had tons of money on here. I've never had any issues, but I mean, anything could happen at the end of the day, right? So with that being said, with the markets portion, now we'll move into the interface portion in the next part in just a second. All right, for the next part, we're going to be looking at fast buy, P2P, bank transfers, and 20 plus options, and third-party ways to buy. Keep in mind that Kucoin does not require KYC, but it will require KYC for certain purchases over a certain amount, as well as for offloading certain amounts, right? So you can get off with your money. It's just that without KYC, they only allow you to take X amount of Bitcoin off, for instance, and so on and so forth, right? So keep that in mind when dabbling on this platform. It's not that it's actually trying to like take your money or anything like that. It only allows X amount. So if I wanted to buy USDT, right, they do have a fast buy here, and I can just utilize and say I want to buy $2,000 worth of USDT. And it says they accept what? Visa. That's the only thing they accept for this option. So if this is what you're looking for, then you can definitely go buy USDT. And then you can say right here, bank card. It needs to be a Visa bank card. And then after that, you can then go ahead and onboard your money, and it tells you your unit pricing, and it tells you how much you'll get. and it tells you how much the fee is, right? So the fee right here is $36. The quantity you'll get is 19.25. And you're probably like, well, why is it 19.25? Because they charge $1.02 per USD. So add that up, 2 cents per dollar. You got $2,000. Subtract that, and then subtract the $36, and then you'll come up with the total of 19.25, guys. They also allow Zelle payments too, right? So Zelle is in a lot of banks. I know Navy Federal has it, and quite a few other banks have it. So that's always a good way to do it too. You can also do by quantity. So you can designate quantity that you want to buy, so on and so forth. And you don't just have to buy USDT. You can buy other forms of currency too here if you were looking to do that. After that, we're going to move back and we're going to look at other payment systems, right? So we're going to come over here, we're going to go to markets, we're going to go P2P. So P2P is another option that they have for purchasing and onboarding currencies. So if I wanted to buy a currency, I can basically go here and I can buy from another person right here. So I can buy his currency, or I can sell my own currency. So if somebody's unable to buy or sell, I can sell or buy whatever I want. My orders, advertisements, so on and so forth, post advertisements, all that good stuff. So P2P is definitely a possibility too. So if you have onboarding issues, this is another option you could take to get into the system and get the money that you need, right? The other option that you have here is a third party, right? And third parties are always great in some ways, right? But there's always inherent risks with third parties, so on and so forth. Whether that be your information getting leaked out or whatever, you know, but just always keep that in the back of your head. But these third parties do allow Visa, MasterCard, and Apple Pay, right? A lot of people have Apple, so I'd say Apple Pay is really good. So that's a really good option. They do try and recommend what would be best here in this case as far as how much you would get. So if I wanted, I don't know, $60,000 worth of BTC, as you can see right here, minimum amount 30 USD, maximum amount 20K. So I can only do 20,000 a day because of my KYC not being complete. So this is how much BTC I can get with that, right? 0.382. And they're telling you this is how much you'll get. And then Banxa is also telling you this is how much you'll get. And you see there's a difference here because they charge different amounts, obviously, for the transaction. And then you can go over to Apple Pay and you can see that Simplex is still going to be the better route. But again, these can be hung up and everything else. They could take a while and all that good stuff. And that's why, you know, you're probably getting different fees here, I would assume too. All right, so now that we've went through ways to onboard currency, in addition to that too, you can move currencies from other platforms to this platform. So if you're looking to move from another DEX, or you're looking to move, I don't know, from Binance US or whatever to here, you can do that also and then sell that asset and buy another asset and so on and so forth. So that's another option you can do. All right, let's move into the trading portion and the next part of the video. All right, well, now we are moving into the trading portion of the video. And you're probably like, oh, what is this? How do I do this? How do I do that? So to be able to trade, you have to move your money to specific portions of your account, and we'll discuss that in the next part. But to get to this part right here that you're seeing, I basically came over to Kucoin and I clicked right here on where it's called trade, and you're gonna go to spot trading. Spot trading is actually how you trade things on Kucoin, and that'll be the interface to trade things, right? The margin trading and stuff like that is a little bit different. Again, that's your 10x leverage and stuff like that. That's what we were talking about earlier. And it's going to be essentially the same thing as spot trading, except it's going to be a lot more volatile, right? Because you're getting that 10x to the upside or 10x to the downside, depending on where you're buying, what you're buying, and so on and so forth. So you can significantly lose money or significantly gain money. So sometimes this can be positive, sometimes it can be negative. API, exclusive privileges for API users, where you can integrate into the API, and then they also have trading bots, which can allow you to get better trades in by utilizing those. And those typically cost a fee. You pay the person who provides the bot, and then the person allows you to utilize the bot, and they could usually charge per transaction, so on and so forth. There's better platforms for bots, I would say, so I wouldn't use their interface for bots in my own personal opinion. So if I wanted to come here and I wanted to go to spot trading, this right here is what spot trading would be. And then if I were looking to buy a token, I would simply click right here where it says BTC, and you could type in whatever you want. So say I wanted Ethereum, right? I would just type in ETH. I would get all these different trading pairs, right? Typically, I'm just looking for ETH for me. I use USDT. You can use whatever you want, USDC, USDT. And here in this interface in spot, it doesn't matter if the USDT is 10x, right? So don't fear that. That is the correct pair. It's the singular pair, so it's only 1x. This is just how it's interfaced. So if I want to click this, I can then go to ETH USDT, and you can see right here, it'll tell me the current price of ETH. I can also look at the chart here. They have the chart available. They have everything here. I would then type in my code here, right? And that would allow me my trading pair. I would then come over here and I would type in my trading pair, and that would allow me my trading pair. And then once I came in and I typed in my trading pair, I can then at that point come in and I can apply that trading pair however I want. I can do limit orders, I can do market orders, and I can do stop limits here, right? So stop limit and stop market. So this will allow me to stomp myself out if I go below a certain price point. So if ETH dropped to 4,300 and I want to sell if it drops to 4,300 to protect my assets so I can buy in lower, then I would simply set a stop limit for that. If I wanted to buy at current market price, it will buy at whatever book price that people are selling at right now. So if that's higher, it's higher. If it's lower, it's lower. But I would buy into every single buy until my buy was bought up, and every single sell that could sell to me has been eaten up by my buy. If I want to specify, I would come over here to limit, and I would set a price. And I'd say, you know what? I only want to buy ETH when it hits 4,300. So if I want to buy ETH when it hits 4,300, I put 4,300 here and I say I want to buy 5 ETH, right? And it will tell me how much money I need to buy 5 ETH, guys. And then once I would say, okay, 21,500 would be the amount I need to buy 5 ETH, I would then go ahead and I would hit buy, and then it would set me a book price over here underneath the orders here. So that would be my order history and all that good stuff, and it would hold it there until the purchase went through, and it'll just stay open even if it doesn't. So if it stays open for years, it'll stay open for years if price never comes back to that position, but more than likely it would. So I would definitely get that order filled, and then when that order were filled, then I would get my pricing. Can it fall through my price? Yes, it can fall through my price. That's okay. That's perfectly okay. If it wicks down and pulls back up, it can completely miss my order. It doesn't have to hit it. So these are like what we call like fall throughs. So stop limits and stop losses can do the same thing essentially. So price can fall through those, and if it falls through those, you basically won't be able to sell out as the market is dumping. Those can be very bad. Okay, same thing over here in sell. I would then put in like how much I want to sell at. So I say, okay, I bought over here at 4,300, and if ETH hits 4,800, then I would come over here and I would be like, all right, I want to sell all 5 of my ETH. And it tells me right here, I would get $24,000 back if it's 4,800, whereas I came in with 21.5. So not too bad, got some decent profit, get in, get out, and all that good stuff. So I basically make a $2,500 profit on that move if it fulfills. So with all that being said, we then have pairs, right? We have all types, and we have buy and sell. We also have stop orders. So this is where our stop losses would be. We have order history. So this is where we've purchased and sold items, right? And then we have trade history here where we've traded items. So this shows all my buys and sells for different amounts and how much I bought and sold and so on and so forth. So really good stuff to have. This right here is what you would export if you were to pay your taxes. You would export this and hand it over to your tax guy, and he would go through it and just kind of designate what your profit to loss ratio was. And then he can go ahead and he can apply that for your taxes. But this right here is also in a CSV file that they have on the other side. All right, so with all the spot trading covered, the other portion, the 10x leverage scenario, that would kind of be the same thing as spot, just like I said, with exponentials applied. All right, so now we're gonna move over to the asset portion of the video. All right, assets, guys, assets. So assets, I would then come over to assets, I would click here, and it will take me to my asset overview. Why are there so many things in the asset overview? Because they have margin and future trading, guys, as well as staking. So because they have all these, they have to separate it this way so you don't throw it in and accidentally throw it in a futures by accident, right? They want to make sure you're in the right location when you come into the market. So if I were to come into my pair here, and I were to deposit a token, it would then come into what I would call my main account. My main account is the only way I can deposit or withdraw tokens. So if I'm not utilizing my main account and it's in my trading account, I cannot deposit or withdraw from my trading account, guys. It deposited into my main account. I can then move it to my trading account, then do a spot trade, and then move it back to my main account and then withdraw it if I want to. This is the process for getting in and out. This is the process for how you sell, buy, and then move it back so you can get it back out or put it back in. So with all that being said, now we know how to operate the spot trading for here, right? And you could transfer to any one of these locations. Margins, what is margins? Well, margins is basically a trading platform just like futures, except futures typically has an expiration date and margins does not have an expiration date. But margins, being the way they are, you can trade any pair against any pair. They have a lot more pairing options, and basically you're trading off volatility of one coin versus another. Whereas futures is very specific on what pairs you can trade. And with the futures trading, you'll basically be kind of locked into only those specific pairs. And there is an expiration on futures, guys. So you can't hold the trade open on a long for all year, right? Whereas margins, you can basically hold this open for all year. And then you could, you're just paying a daily fee as part of that margin trade. Now we'll go ahead and move into the PoolX scenario and we'll discuss that in just a second. All right, so PoolX is basically essentially Kucoin's staking platform. So with it being their staking platform, this is where you would go if you were looking to stake coins. Now again, you had to transfer to these accounts to utilize these accounts. So if I want to use the futures, I had to transfer from my main or trading wherever my money's at to my futures account. If I want to stake, I need to move to my staking account, guys. And typically you'll get rewards of the token as well as rewards of what? Of their pool token in addition to that. So right now, these are kind of their pools, and these are the pools that they're accepting and trading. So if I wanted to see all of them, I could say NFT assets, account balances, lockup history, deposit withdrawal, asset details, and then everything that I've kind of received or not received. And they can show you right here, these were your earnings for these items. So with that being said, now we kind of see an overview of PoolX and how it works. Now we can go ahead and we can move into the next portion of the video. All right, so with futures, before we close that out, they do have futures light and futures pro. I typically like pro versus light. So if you come in and get a pro and you click here, this is the interface for pro, and it says claim up to millions. This is where they try and suck you into using it. But definitely, like I said, unless you kind of can do any type of TA, I would avoid this whole section. So with futures, if I want to utilize futures, I know this is blinding, guys. Let me see if I can find the dark mode. Let's see. Okay, looks like we are not finding the dark mode. All right, so with futures, if I wanted to utilize futures, they have, again, limit, stop, right? So that's our stop price. If you're looking to get stopped out, this is our limit price. This is the price we would buy in, and this is the leverage we would utilize. Now you can only use the leverage you've KYC'd up to. If you KYC more, you get higher leverage. If you KYC less, you get less leverage. And as you can see right here, the pair I'm looking at right now it looks to be Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin's perpetual futures. Can I trade other pairs? Sure. I can trade Luna, for instance. I could trade Sol, for instance. These are all available pairs to trade. Volatility is definitely there for lower cap coins versus higher cap coins. So with that being said, I can come in and I can set a limit price, and I can say I want to do 1,000 US, and then I can say on 10x, and then I can at that point come in and put how much Sol I wanna apply to this, right? So if I want to do 50%, 75%, 100%, so on and so forth, then that's how much I would apply to this. So this is what price I would buy at, or sorry, I put 1,000. Let's do 100. So this is what price I would start at, and this is where I would put the amount of SOL I want to get. And I would say 20 SOL, that's $2,000. So SOL comes back to 100. I can then get 20 at 10x leverage, and then I would simply say buy long or sell short. So at this position, I would probably say buy long, and then this is how much it would cost me at a long, and this is how much it would cost me at a short currently, and I would be looking to run down to that price. So once I designate that, then my order then opens, and then I'm able to start running my futures trade in the direction of the market I think that the market would go. Now keep in mind, anytime the price moves even the slightest bit away from my price target, if it moves towards the direction I'm betting on, it's positive 10x. If it moves away, it's negative 10x. But that X slowly degrades the further and further away it gets. So if you come so much in profit, eventually you get to like what we call 1x, where you can't really get significant gains anymore, but you'll still get gains if it continues to move in your favor. But your gains are basically suppressed at that point. You're only utilizing the money you borrowed plus the money that you have. So that's what futures is. You're borrowing money against your assets. So if I put in $100 on 10x, I'm essentially borrowing $1,000, right? If I put in $1,000 on 10x, I'm borrowing $10,000. So that's how much exponentials I would get as it moves in my favor, guys. This is how futures work. One pays the other pays the one. So that's futures. All right, so moving out of futures and moving on to the next portion of the video. All right, for the last part of the video, they do have financing, guys. So you can get crypto lending. You can borrow against crypto. You can get their PoolX tokens by utilizing and staking their token. They also have a KCS bonus, so it gives you buy and sell discounts as well as trading discounts fees, right? So if I'm doing futures, it's good to hold KCS, as well as if I'm buying and selling on the platform, it gives me discounts on my buys and sells, guys. They also have a referral, a mining pool, and affiliate link. So if you're an affiliate of them, obviously you get different perks and stuff like that. So that's always not a bad thing either. I will say this is pretty much the whole interface of Kucoin. I mean, we can go into deposits if you want real quick. Basically, you just click the token that you want to deposit and or type the name here. Then you would click here, and then you would kind of designate what chain you wanted to utilize, as well as what you want to deposit or withdraw here, right? And the withdrawals work the same way essentially. And then all your history will be here under withdrawals and deposits if you wanted to use that. And your current bonuses that they're offering you would be under my bonuses. And you can see these are all the bonuses that they're offering me right now. So if you wanted to utilize these, you could. Again, interface of Kucoin. Thank you everybody for stopping by. Appreciate it. And good luck and have a great night. Talk to you guys later.
I can't let them take my soul. Nah, no. Oh, I can't let them take my soul. Nah, no. I can't let them take my soul.